Okay, so here we got about a minute until we get into the game. We see here we've got Tryndamere top, Shyvana jungle, Vex mid, and Kai'Sa Morgana bot lane. You have Crusade on the Shen again, Ezekiel on uh, the Jarvan. You got Swain mid and Sivir Soraka bot. So a couple of picks from last game resurfacing, but mostly new draft from in check out this right NAU. So they're going with a different game plan this time, it seems. Having a more farming oriented jungler with Shyvana that can kind of scale into the late game and be a bit more tankier as opposed to the Hecarim. What are your thoughts on the changes in draft here?
So one thing to notice real quickly is that they kept the Shen. That's very scary considering that they already know that this person is a competent Shen player. And so, I in my personal opinion, I think Shen does fairly decent against Tryndamere from what I've experienced. Um, but now Aspian's on the Sivir, much more, ultimate focused AD carry, but a lot stronger in the lane, especially when you consider that you can Sivir can manipulate the wave almost single handedly. Yes, it's against Kai'Sa, but it's also a Sivir against a Morgana. I think the Morgana is going to have trouble, unless she's consistently landing those Qs onto uh, the Soraka, who I believe is decent enough to avoid that situation. I personally think the Sivir Morgana lane is stronger, and so we shift our focus into the mid lane. I think Vex is a much stronger pick than Azir. It doesn't rely on you snowballing.
Brother, you mean the Swain?
On the NAU side,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think I
I
think
thought you.
that Vex is stronger than the Zir pick that he picked last time when we
Yeah,
were on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah. Vex is like a really reliable champion, someone that you can kind of always
She remind
trust to have a
she's
little
reminiscent
something.
of she's reminiscent of Lux. She has very long range abilities and she can fight decently well, and she's very safe.
I feel like
Um,
she kind of has this middle ground between like Lux and Annie, where she has a lot of safety in her kit, a lot of reliability, but also is able to have a lot of burst as well and can kind of drop in on teams and be a lot of disruption. She hits this really nice middle ground that feels just really solid no matter what elo you're playing in.
and even though Pantheon has the global ultimate, I actually do think Jarvan overall is probably a better jungler. The amount of damage he produces is going to be very, very, very frustrating to deal with.
Yeah, I'll say in the
Uh,
5v5 settings, Jarvan definitely shines a lot more. Just that utility he provides to a team with a full communication is a lot more helpful.
um, Moving into ESU's mid lane, 8-7 on Swain. So I actually don't have too much experience on Swain, but he can be very frustrating to play against. He is a character that I see a lot of times when people play. A lot of times, if people are good on Swain, I just see them snowball. And so, considering that he was basically the MVP last game, the person with the most kills, I, you know, I feel like he's probably gonna snowball his lane if they don't watch out for that.
Yeah, I'll have to see because Vex is safe, but like you said, Swain can certainly. He has a lot in his toolkit to punish anyone who punish a lot of misplays. Essentially, here we see Slip 40 getting a bit of early poke on Aspie and that Kai'Sa Q. It really hurts no matter what stage of game you're in. A70 a little bit from the fear, but just not quite that much. Vex.
Yeah, and Vex decided to go with corruption potion start, so he's gonna be looking to trade a little bit more and hopefully sustain that up for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only hope that Trimmer has in this lane is the fact that he builds up rage and then he gets a lot of rage damage in. And so as long as he can keep the rage up, and it looks like Trimmer is
Oh,
ready
actually,
to
yeah, it
go.
looks like he's looking for Ezekiel here, but Ezekiel already took his red, so getting that start top early. Yeah, here we see yet again
So
NAU.
did he go red into golems into raptors?
Yeah, yeah,
Is
red
that how his
interrupters.
pathing went?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that is slow, but I mean, I guess it paid off.
Yes, yeah. It's on training build with Gun Gosler early here. Rex got that Electrocute proc off. Okay, let's see. Odds are getting hooked a bit here. Pretty slow start so far, I will say.
And normally I'm afraid of Kai'Sa's in game, in solo queue games, but
Oh,
I'm looking at ESU's. Yeah, see here, like, you know, as soon as you have a grass swap, you can go in for a trade against Tryndamere, and your Tryndamere's gonna lose that trade basically every time.
yes.
Unless
Nick
he,
said,
unless he, if Shen just keeps his rage down, I don't think he can win this lane.
yeah, it's very interesting seeing Orbit pick the Tryndamere yet again into Shen. That you would imagine maybe you want someone who, I don't know, possibly like a Gnar or something. Presumably, Orbit maybe just doesn't have quite that much of like that larger wheelhouse of champions to pick from to reliably play. So it might just be, it might be like you said. Maybe they should have, took out the Shen of the pool just to allow Orbit to play the game a bit more. But to be fair. I know from experience, Nick Crusade has a lot of
One
wardens.
theory I'm having is that they're probably televisioning on 8-7. You know, he was 14-0 last game, I think, and they might be thinking to themselves, wow, we need to really like stop this person from getting ahead, so we're gonna ban most of his champion pool. And
I will
maybe that's
say,
how Shen got through.
I will say, we did see the bans from NAU, and they did ban out Yasuo and Rise, and also the Pantheon early. So at least for the first round, so there was a bit of focus on this end. Naker said going in for a trade on Orbit. Orbit going around being a bit aggressive, but doesn't really have the HP. It just doesn't quite have the HP. Doesn't have 6 either, so it's not quite that good for him. Letting Shin get yet another proc off here. We're seeing a lot of focus on the top side as Orbit gets pretty low here in this trade up top. Aspian and Bear Trap just kind of control the lane here. Naker said going for yet another trade. Orbit not really being able to reply, but still going anyway. Now that the shield's down, not a bad idea on Orbit's part, I think. Once Shin uses that barrier, you got a pretty decent window to try to get some sort of trade back going in.
Right, but unless you build up the rage, you're gonna lose that.
Up, H7 going in here. Ezekiel right around the corner to follow up, and the 6 coming out. The Swain Q just nuking Gone Gosler despite being so far away. Orbit also 6, trying to dive. Naker say both flashes getting traded, and the HP not enough. Not enough.
Even with the nerf tower.
I was a bit surprised by that tower damage. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I've never seen the tower do that much damage in this patch.
I know, as I was expecting. Dread Viper getting that dragon in though, while H7 and Ezekiel are a bit too low to really do much about it.
I know they're doing this, but there's nothing they could do. Yeah, this is dragging over to NAU.
Yeah, I mean that's at least something they can take away from this. I mean, they got Tryndamere getting a kill early, and
so it looks like this is a tank Shyvana.
Yeah, pretty standard in this current meta. Pretty typical for her to build a tank item and then go into Demonic Embrace. Yeah, it gives a Shyvana that ends up is really tanky and just can put out a lot of damage surprisingly. Ezekiel's looking to set up a gank on the here.
Trymmer is actually winning this lane pretty well, which is surprising, but it's gonna be really rough for this Shen, I believe.
Yeah, the farm lead is tried to.
Yeah, the farm lead is pretty massive actually.
Although Orbit used the dash, he's gonna have to get a couple more autos if he wants to get over the wall here. Maybe not. Well, he's gonna have it up. Ezekiel's watching. He's waiting. Oh, there it is. Ezekiel's going in for it. Oh, he got the slow off. He's really greedy, but he's going to give up at the tower.
They definitely could tower dive him here.
Well,
and they don't.
I feel like the wave is... Well, I don't really think the wave is in any place to really facilitate that. Everyone else is kind of farming away, slaving away at the minions and the camps. The whole else going out the moment.
One thing to note is that both teams want to get to the late game. Both teams excelled in the late game. What I'm scared about is that NAU have 2 hyper carries, and ESU, they have a team that excels at late game utility. They have the Sivir ulti, gonna be able to run down, use Jarvan and Swain to jump in on Kai'Sa, but they also have Tryndamere. So I think this is a game where unless one team snowballs, I think it's gonna be it's gonna be very situational about how the rotations come in.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a gank here on the bot lane. Dread Driver hitting the W. Oh,
Well,
that
shield.
shield absorption. I wasn't quite.
Kaisa, yeah, Kaisa's W procced the shield, so
Yeah,
it gave room for the Morgana Q to come in.
yeah. I don't know how intentional that was, but it was a very good play from NAU, absorbing that Silver Shield right before the Morgana Q could hit it.
Very fortunate.
I was seeing a ping from help for old Gun Gosler here as H7 is breathing down his neck yet again. Our Dread Viper is
So
a little bit busy farming.
we're seeing what should have been the win condition from the last game for NAU, where they really needed to win top or bot, and now they're winning both at this game here.
At this current stage so far, we'll have to see. Top could possibly do a bit more here.
Right.
Morgana Shocked Lake is almost caught up, not quite. The binding keeps him off. I'm more concerned for the bot lane on ESU's part. Kaisa getting that early kill, and also having a bit of a farm lead already can prove pretty bad if they don't play the lane carefully enough. Kaisa has a lot to just suddenly surprise
Right.
you with burst.
And you know, one interesting
Oh,
tech that
Ezekiel looking to get a fight here. The Shinol comes down. Orbit is here to also follow up. Nick Crusade might be a sacrificial play to see what Nick Crusade has anything else to really get out, but not really. He's just getting pounded on, getting beat down. But oh, he's just trying to go through the tower, and Trinimir ult gets him out pretty safely there. Nick Crusade paying the price for Ezekiel's greed. I don't like seeing that.
Yeah, especially Shen needs to be stable in this lane here. I believe he should. I think valiant effort on Nate Crusade's part, but I do believe that he really needs to just minimize the amount of the
Yeah.
lead that Trinidad can get.
Yeah, we're
Very,
kind of
very
a
scary.
yeah, kind of interesting. I think Ezekiel kind of forgot for a second. He's not on the Pantheon pick anymore. He can't be going for counter jungling on someone like Jarvan. That's not really the role you're trying to fill in this team comp. So trying to do that and having to sacrifice your team's resources just to kind of save that. Even if Nate Crusade did get out of that situation, you did use the Shin ult to make up for what was ultimately a mistake.
Right. I think Ezekiel needs to either focus on getting.
Looks like might be a play brewing here. H7 forcing a
I was
Gosler
about to
back.
mention. I think Ezekiel's two goals were here to gank mid and gank bot. Like I think he doesn't need to do anything else.
Speaking of, we have a little bit of a 2v2 brewing right now, though. Dread Viper and Gun Gosler using that tower to sort of protect themselves. Oh, Slip is coming in from behind. Gun Gosler hits the ult. H7 is burning away with his shin ult, but the exhaust is just stopping him from getting as much healing as he needs. And ESU's bot lane is a little too slow to respond to that, unfortunately. Here we see that NAU has a pretty solid 2k lead so far. Orbits is trying to trade with Nate Crusade a bit, losing a lot of HP, but with the ult, it won't matter later. Dread Viper securing yet. Yeah, if we look here, actually, Dread Viper's getting yet another dragon for them. Not the best thing that ESU wants. They don't really want the Shyvana stacking these dragons. It just makes that scaling easier to get on their part. Ezekiel looks like he might be trying to punish this bit of a push here from their part. To see.
Looking to disengage the top side.
Oh, but the hook comes out, Flash comes out, slips in, and Q gets him out. Looks like Ezekiel's going to be getting the shocked leg. A little bit of a BM from Ezekiel. Yeah, got the stopwatch off shocked leg. Kind of not really a place you want to be using stopwatch. You want to be saving that for a situation where you have your teammates to try to back you up.
He's gone, but maybe it was probably just like a panic.
Yeah. At this point, it's good that it's used at all. A lot of people in lower elo they don't really use their active items quite like they should be.
So from what I'm looking how the game is developing, a lot of this game is coming down to how well ESU can can fight in the mid game, and a lot of it's going to come down to how much damage Swain is going to be able to put out. I think if Swain can shut down Kaisa
And if we
in
look at this,
these mid game team fights, then they may have a chance. But I think that's the only thing they're going to be able to. That's the only way that they're going to win these mid game team fights is if Swain kills Kaisa. I don't think there's any other way they could do it.
yeah,
Kaisa's
a
going to
lot
be
of it
facing.
is kind of riding on the shoulders of the Noxian tyrant himself. If you look at the gold charts, actually, we can see even though AH7 hasn't really been able to get the most out of the Jarvan ganks, we have seen he has a pretty substantial lead in gold, and he's spent a lot of it now. So he's spent that on power now. That 5K is going to help him kind of hopefully snowball this game a bit more. Also seeing bot lane is mostly fairly matched, even though Aspian is staying up in farm. The kill and 2 assists for Kaisa gave him a pretty solid 500 gold lead. So, about to see how they use that here. Oh, looks like they're trying to go in here. Slip using the ultimate. The Kaisa Q comes out. Aspian flash healing and ulting, getting away from them, luckily. Good recovery from ESU. Almost turned disastrous. Luckily, Shocked
Right,
Lake.
that's a lot of damage in the bot lane tower.
Yeah. Luckily, Shocked Lake was not able to pin down anyone with the ultimate. Or with the snare, rather. So I was saying for the tower here, might be looking to be in an
I think he
interesting
might be.
spot here.
He
Is
might be strong enough
ghosting
to
and
win this.
ulting, yeah. Oh, but the Morgana Q, that gives them a lot of room, but it won't matter. Morgana's gonna go down.
He wins this fight.
Oh, and the Shinnel as well. 3 kills for
That was a big
AH7.
mistake. I don't. In what universe does a like 1/4 HP Kaisa walk up to a Swain with Ghost?
Probably expecting that Morgana snare to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting. I don't think they would. I don't think they fully respected how much farm AH7 had under his belt. Like we can see the gold values, but oh, Ezekiel getting shredded by orbits here. Crusade's going next on the list.
Right,
Red Viper, they're looking to dive them here. Potentially here. Yep, tower might be going down. Crusade's trying to get it. Oh, the ult is not up, but he does get eaten by the dragon.
Yeah, I don't even blame them about talking about how they came in 3v1 against the Swain. I don't even fault them for forgetting about Shen, but I think even without the Shen, he wins that fight. But with the Shen, it's like it's actually kind of hubris to even attempt that play. I mean,
Well, you have to understand we are expecting some of the lower elos. A lot of these players they aren't looking at the items because what you see in like higher elos is players typically checking scoreboards and seeing how many items people have. That's something that people maybe in like lower elos will forget a lot. Ezekiel's looking for the steal on this. Oh, can hit the eye. Oh, the flash goes down to who exactly? It didn't really tell us. Looks like Dread Viper got the Herald there. Ezekiel's getting a bit punished for his hubris of his own, but yep, unfortunately could not finish off Dread Viper there.
right, I think that also is probably a misunderstanding how Swain's utility works. I think people think that he might be some sort of character like a brand type mage, but he's actually, in my opinion, more of like an AP Graves. You just do so much damage by getting up close and personal, and you have so much sustain and so much stats from your ultimate. You're just not. And I think this
Oh,
is actually another. No, he. Okay,
nope,
the
he has.
silver ulti doesn't. Okay, the silver ulti comes in now.
Yes, but it's not quite enough to keep it going. However, Kaisa does get caught out. H7 fulfilling his role, like you said, needing to pick out that hyper carry. Kaisa is unfortunately 1 and 2 now, not really being able to do enough with her lead, unfortunately. Slip 04. It looks like, oh, Orbit might be trying to fill the role of the kill force, taking him down. H7 might be next on the list, but the Zanyas comes out. Nick Crusade's also helping out, being a little bit of a supportive role there. And Orbit has to back off there. Really good job from Orbit trying to get that pick, making really decisive decision, just wasn't quite enough. H7 had enough resources to get out of that.
So it looks like here they're doing a dragon dance here.
Yeah,
Orbit's low, so is Swain. Swain's backing. They're
yeah,
not
if we
giving
look
up
at
this dragon. I think both teams realize that both both powerhouse champions are low, so they're going to reset.
Okay.
Trinimir is doing that in the form of life steal through the camps, and now he's going to go try to get. If they fight here, I think ESU has to give this up. Trinimir is here to fight.
Oh, the reverse bear trap might be
Morgana
getting
got
caught out
caught.
by the Morgana. The slow comes out, but they just don't have the damage.
Okay, they decide not to do dragon now.
Yeah, I think Orbit and Kaisa kind of committing to that bot tower kind of prevented them from really consolidating this dragon. Like, yes, you get the tower, but you lost a potential pick, and also you lost a really good chance to get dragon.
I think they're doing dragon now,
Finally doing
but
it
ESU
now.
might be. I think ESU responds to this.
Yeah, I
I
think I
think
think this
they
is a fight that
get
you
this.
might want to take here with maybe, but oh, it's already so
ESU
low.
really needs to start
Ezekiel has
going
to,
now.
yeah, they need to try something now. You can't just let Morgana. Oh, the combo still goes off anyway. He manages to get a pick on the
ESU wins the
Morgana.
fight.
EH7. The all comes out now, finally. Might be able to pick up. Oh, the flash comes out. Slips goes down. Dread Viper in the back line trying to shred the squishies. But Nate Crusade is here coming back saying, I know I will not forget you. No homie left behind. So,
The ESU wins the fight, but they lost dragon, and that's the third dragon. That
yeah.
I I think they should have. I think they should realize that their team fight is much stronger than them. H7, he can kill 3 people just by being near them,
Yeah,
and like,
certainly surprised we didn't see more of a committing to that fight from ESU's part. I mean, I know it's desirable to kind of save that shin alt until you know when a teammate's in trouble, but I think honestly, as long as you have the Swain alt burning, you get a lot of leeway. I mean, you just pop that shin alt on the Swain, have him just kind of run in.
Swain Ghost, followed by the Sivir ultimate, and then Shen ultimate, and this Swain becomes a walking Doombot.
Oh, looks like Nakusei might be getting lost the blue buff to Orbit. Might be getting punished further for this. Orbit
It
has
looks like ESU is collapsing on this. If they come in to fight,
yeah, the flash from Nakusei.
I think they could have trapped the Tryndamere.
I don't know, maybe asking
I
a bit
think they
much. They
really.
do have Dread Viper and Gungazla here.
Everyone's
H7's also here. Orbit is going into the backline. He should have ultimate up. Aspian has to try to run, but it might not be enough against a Tryndamere. Oh, Orbit does not know who to target, actually. Has a bit too much kiting potential. Ezekiel gets the drop on Dread Viper.
And this is a. Well, I guess they're not. They couldn't do Baron here.
Yeah, it's a little bit too early for them, but all in all, a pretty good turnaround from ESU in this scenario. We will notice the slip is getting quite a bit of farm here, and while AH7 is, if we look at the gold gain, actually we see a lot of weight being pulled on AH7's part. He has the 7 kills now. Oh, he might be looking to limit test a bit here against bot lane, just trying to run at them now that the pole or the root is down.
The win con for both teams really just relies on Swain killing Kaisa and Kaisa being able to not die from Swain. Or,
Yeah.
Tryndamere killing Swain. The entire game rides on Swain's ability to kill Kaisa, in my opinion. Because you look at the other characters, Vex is damage, but Swain is a high burst sustain mage. And
Yeah,
you're
and
not really the only answer that they have is Tryndamere and Kaisa.
yeah, I mean, Swain has the farm to back it up as well, and
They also have Soraka and Sivir utility to back him up.
yeah, this team definitely has a lot to help out the Swain. Crusade bring a bit in here. Ezekiel looking to maybe
Right, they
kinda,
understand that Tryndamere is so strong that if he gets locked into the ultimate there, then he'll just get auto to death. But they kind of wanted to bait them in just to make sure maybe get Swain a little bit closer.
yeah, a lot of looks like a bit of a Baron dance going on here. Orbit's trying to maybe catch someone out. Ezekiel, it's not enough. Oh, yep, they managed to get the Sivir ultimate, so not all too bad. Trade a couple of utilities, but all in all, not too much is lost here. H7 is walking down the mid lane, probably looking to assist his team now that he's very farmed up.
That Swain has.
Yeah,
He has so much
he has quite a bit now. He has 2 items and a Giant's Belt and a Dark Seal, fully stacked yet again.
He might go Magi's here.
It's
I wouldn't
certainly a
personally because
possibility.
he's a frontline mage, so you know one of these days he probably is going to die. But that Dark Seal is definitely paying off.
Yeah, but probably he'll end up waiting it after, at least after his third item, because he still doesn't have the demonic embrace that would certainly like seal the deal in these team fights as far as the HP shredding.
Right, and so you know it's going to be demonic embrace instead of Rylai's here.
We'll have to see. I don't know for sure. The exhaust
Alright,
goes
so
down. Slip 40
wait,
wanting this Swain's blood very much. Orbit also going down. They know their target. Oh, but they have to deal with the Shin first. They got the Soraka. AH7 is kiting this Red Viper.
yeah, Shyvana, that's a full tank Shyvana, so he's not going to be able to walk in. Oh, he actually,
That is true. Actually, he does have
that's an AD
Titanic
Shyvana.
Hydra.
Never mind.
Yeah, it's Titanic Hydra.
That's Titanic.
Yeah. Let's see.
Dragon's up.
I'll say we only have about 5 minutes left in our broadcast, unfortunately. So we'll have to see what happens here pretty soon. If we're getting the definite conclusion. Looks like NAU is looking to secure that final dragon. Getting that soul point would be very big for them. Ezekiel's trying to get some vision just to make sure they don't get too greedy here. H7's around the corner. Orbit maybe hoping for a pick, but is not coming out. H7 knows better. Oh, and the flash alt Morgana binding gets down to H7. Ezekiel is blocking them. Naked Crusade going in. Trinimir is dead, and Slip 04 is following up Aspian with the ultimate as well. Great follow-up from ESU, protecting AH7 with the Ezekiel sacrifice.
And now H7 zoning out Shyvana, so she can't just ult over to the wall and take that dragon.
Yeah, great job securing that first dragon finally. Right before it became too disastrous for them. They're stemming the bleeding.
You know, if they get all the ocean dragons here, you know, they a Swain with an ocean soul and four ocean dragons is, you know, that's disastrous.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it gets quite that late into the game. I imagine it'll probably resolve a bit before we see that, but that would certainly be any amount of ocean dragons you give to the Swain that is kind of the in-game carry makes your win con a lot harder to fulfill. And if you look at the gold here as well, you see, you know, Swain with the very strong 12k versus 7k on Vex, and even versus the just the 9k on Isa, just shy of hitting 10k. No, not a whole lot of people like. Trinimir might be able to match Swain at this point, but it's still kind of up in the air because, you know,
Swain's going to be moving very fast. He's going to have the backing of Soraka and Sever Ultimate. You know, it's gonna be really hard for, even with the Gale Force, even with the Trinimir E, to get onto the Swain.
Yeah, so definitely all eyes are on AH7 in this game. It looks like Red Viper and Orbit are trying to two-man Baron. Getting very sneaky play.
Pretty hard.
A very sneaky play. ESU's getting kind of punished by the lack of vision in the scenario. Bear Trap getting caught out. Yeah, Baron's going to go down. That's going to be really big for NAU. Just kind of.
One thing I noticed about NAU, and a big mistake in my opinion, is that they have no teleport presence. You know, they have Vex. He's running Ignite into the lane. You know, probably just to prevent Swain from sustaining. But I don't think it's enough. I think the TP is needed in this game, especially against a Shen who's going to be able to split push and join in fights and have a
advantage. About to say that for later, because Ezekiel's getting a catch on Slip here. The Swain W locking out any movement from him. Nakers are going up here to stop the Tryndamere from pushing with the Baron buff. Here we're going to see the rest of ESU trying to take advantage of the fact that their ADC is down by pushing down this tower now. Even with Baron buff, they're still going to be able to get a tower. Very disastrous pick. Even though they got that Baron, NAU got a little bit too comfortable. Ezekiel missing the knockup on Dread Viper, a bit unfortunate, but not much they can do with Aspian also getting hit by the binding. Bear Trap's up top here after dying just to support Naked Crusade, making sure that Orbit doesn't, you know, try any funny business with pushing the tower. Not a bad decision, honestly. Orbit is getting pretty low. actually, oh, NECC, oh, the taunt and
Yeah,
swipe.
I think Tryndamere can activate his ult even while being crowd controlled, so I think that might be just a straight misplay.
Yeah, just a bit of a misplay. Probably wasn't expecting quite that much damage from the Shin. As we talked about
Right.
before, Shin can,
This grass proc and the passive proc probably help convert
yeah.
into a lot of burst there.
Plus, he does have Titanic Hydra, so his auto attacks are doing a lot. It's about 40, trying to trade a bit with H7, hoping for that Q damage to do a lot more to him. He Zanya's to get a bit more healing, but it's just not going to be enough. He is burning. Naked Crusade ult comes out. Shin ult is just not enough. Slip 04 is hitting that power spike where he can finally take down the giant. It's not a good sign for ESU having AH7 fall in that scenario. Ezekiel going for the kill here. Can he pick up another one? He can! Great play from Ezekiel getting the double kill here.
A lot of health here.
Yes, he is. That Ocean Drake and Conquer doing a lot of work for him. Looks like maybe NECC might be trying to start a fight here with Gun Gosler and Drip, but they're tanking Baron minions, and Orbit is around the corner. To see can Aspian be enough to be the deciding factor here. Well, Orbit is just hacking away with his ultimate, and the Gale Force comes out. Oh, the banana!
The ultimate here too.
Yes. Oh, Aspian taking a bit. He might end up taking a bit more, and they decide to give up on Gon Gosler.
What is Vex building? I feel like Vex is not doing enough damage here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Everfrost.
Yeah, the Everfrost not having that Loon's Echo is definitely hampering their damage a bit. Kind of giving that up for having the ability to lock down AH7 and also cancel out some of his healing. That the full Morello, while does hamper the damage a bit, is a bit necessary in this situation. When you have...
They really do need the anti-healing.
Oh, looks like Shocked Lake dropping the flash. Very afraid of AH7, and rightfully so. Aspie getting a really good prediction. Being very...
was very forward in there.
Yeah, was not paying enough attention to the threat behind them, unfortunately. A7 pops the ult, expecting a bit more resistance from... Oh, Gon Gosler getting caught out in the act of trying to catch out AH7. They're providing so much shielding for and healing for the AH7 that maybe Swain can just keep pumping. The tether is still attached. His ult is still going off.
Going on, dude?
Meanwhile, Ezekiel securing the dragon away from Dread Viper, and maybe might be enough damage to pump him down. NECC Crusade manages to get the taunt off. AH7 is still around here as well.
See, what I don't understand is why are they fighting here? There's no power. They're just fighting here.
Yeah, a little bit of skirmishing we see going around here.
I think ESU is, even though they have a slight gold disadvantage, I think, in my opinion, I think this game favors more into the ESU side. I think they have too much mobility, they have too much crowd control, too much peel for the Sivir. And Sivir is still a threat. We're not talking about how.
Oh, speaking of Sivir, it might be up. Orbit is a bit discouraged.
Doing damage, but she's still an 80 carry. She has 3 full items now, and the longer the game goes, the more damage she's going to be putting out. And
I will say,
it's a very easy target to shoot down.
Yeah, I will say, however, I think the game will get a lot more even because yes, you have H7 getting all of this farm, getting all this advantage, but it's getting to the point where he's almost full build. He's going to hit a certain cap on being strong. Aspian might be getting caught out here. Shin ult coming down to save him. The Gale Force coming just barely getting out of that taunty, and the Ghost kind of securing over. Oh, but H7 is right around the corner. Dash around there, doing everything they can to kind of cut off his exits. We're seeing a lot of movement brewing. Dread Viper trying to give him a bit way forward. H7 popping his own Ghost and trying to get in there. Ezekiel coming in from behind. Dread Viper having to ult out of this. Yeah, if they're not careful, but they're not going to lose anyone yet. So I think if ESU can keep pushing them off, they could possibly do it. Okay, no.
And
H7 doesn't want it. Yes, that's true. Some really good footwork from NAU here while stopping this. Snake Crusade going in on this
They have
potential
no
fight.
parries here.
I don't
What are
know
they
what.
doing?
Yeah, that was a bit potential miscommunication there. They did not have
No,
Aspian or Bear Trap to back them up
this
there.
is the front line. No Swain, no Sivir. I don't understand what they could have accomplished there. Did they think that they had enough damage to burst down these people?
I'm not really sure what's
They,
going to happen. They'll probably be talking about that in communications later. That was definitely a miscommunication issue, I think.
uh, what I was referring to earlier about how I favored ESU. I just think that yes, Swain is reaching a cap, but I do believe the utility they have is enough to edge out Pretimir's growing strength, and I think they're gonna be able to run down Kaisa.
You know, H7 is kind of getting ran down himself by Orbit here. Can he outlast the Shin? The Gale Force is not enough. H7 stops the Trindamere in his tracks. Great job by H7 there. He might be looking to punish Slip and Shock like here. Ezekiel
Okay, they have
looking
Sivir
for a
ultimate if they
potential
wanna run them
pick.
down
Yep.
there.
Oh, yep. There's the flash
100%
and
from-
that and exhaust. Actually, does get the taunt off. Takes down Kaisa and Shock Lake soon follows.
And they're doing Baron right now.
Yes, they are. Let's see how it's going to turn. It is just a solo Baron, so Dread Viper shouldn't be able to. Probably thinking she had a bit more sustain for this. I mean, look at her build.
As well. They have a ward
Yeah,
on it.
yes. Oh, and there's the Swain W, letting them know they're in the sights.
When is Dragon spawning?
Dragon is unfortunately I don't have the timers set up at the moment. I wasn't able to get that set up in time, but it will be within the next minute. So they are rightfully setting up here. NECC Crusade, getting some vision as steep as he can. H7 is looking to maybe get some picks here. See if anyone trying to get their own vision set up here while they have it. Orbit's also here. It looks like we're going to be looking for one last fight here from both teams before we have to cut away. Looks like, yep, the starting the Dragon. Dread Viper's on the other end. Ezekiel getting the knockup. Nick getting the taunt. Can Aspian was able to get a little bit of poke, but the flash comes out. They're going to be relying. Yeah, they're going to be relying on the 50-50 here from both teams. Who gets it? It's actually Trindamere. Dread Viper is just shredding through them. Aspian, can they have enough? Slip is in the middle of the team, but the Q just melts people. NECC Crusade will not have enough HP. And here we have Ezekiel left over. Aspian.
Yeah, unfortunately, they did not focus the Kaisa down.
Yeah,
So
it's very,
she drove the back line and just, queued once and won that fight.
very, very sad state of affairs. It's not looking good for ESU now. They've dropped the ball a bit.
Yeah, I think
One
they
too many
might be able to
dragons.
end here because the death timers are
Mhm.
they could just take the tower. They take
Yeah, and this is AD Shyvana. Keep that in mind.
You just won the game right here. They won.
That's what's looking like.
Swain's up in 10, but they might. I don't think he has enough damage to even kill Shyvana here. I think Shyvana could just end the game by herself. Yep, that's the game.
Yep, it's looking pretty much set unless AH7 can. Nope, it's not possible. Good game from both sides. That was some great playing. We saw AH7 really trying to lift the weights on that one, but it was
They were
not
fighting
enough.
for their win con, but at a certain point, they I don't know if NAU adjusted their playstyle or what happened, but they could not shut down the Kaisa, and so Kaisa just ended up melting everyone in that last team fight there.
Yeah, very yeah, like I was kind of predicting earlier, you have H7 getting all this lead, but unless you do quite enough with it, then the rest of the team is eventually going to follow up. And NAU kind of rightfully put a lot of resources into Kaisa, expecting her to eventually start being able to shred through, which worked out for them.